My name is Ellen Barr. I'm a soloist with the New York City Ballet, and I'm one of the creators and executive producers of New York Export Opus Jazz. My ballet career started when I was 8 years old. I started dancing because my mom was a dancer in Russia, and she immediately took me to the School of American Ballet because she thought it was, the best school in the country, and we lived close enough that they could drive me back and forth. And so I started at SAB from day one. I went through every single level. I performed all the children's ballets with the company, and that's kind of when I fell in love with New York City Ballet, and that's how I got to know the Balanchine and Robbins rep. And so I always really, really wanted to be in New York City Ballet. It was really like my first love. And when I was 16 years old, I got my apprenticeship and I got my core contract when I was 17. And I've been there ever since. It's extremely rare for people to go from the first level to the last. So I kind of feel like a product of that world. I think we have such a wide rep that I've never felt really cut off from, different styles. I feel like with our rep, we get to do like West Side Story and things like Opus Jazz. We get to do super classical story ballets. We get to do the Balanchine neoclassical ballets, and then there's new choreographers coming in and doing sort of the more contemporary things that are happening. So I've never really felt cut off, and I've always really liked having a home. I've always really liked that stability, and I don't know, just being a soloist in this company and the way that my body is, and what I feel good dancing, I feel like this is the best place for me to be. I feel really comfortable in that sort of Balanchine leotard stuff, and that's what I get to do, and that's what my body is. So I've been satisfied here, but I totally understand why people need to go out and do other things. I've always been with City Ballet, and I do the Balanchine and Robbins rep. But yeah, I think I have tried to sort of diversify in other ways, not by going and working with other companies or going and living somewhere else, but by, first of all, this film project was sort of a really, really big step outside of what I'm used to doing. Of course, it was all inspired by wanting to bring this ballet to a wider audience and wanting to see dance on film that felt really, really that just felt really right. And I mean, we were just talking about this Kanye West video, but I think all dancers get frustrated when they see dance film that they think is not up to par or doesn't represent what dance really is. And while dance films can't replace live performance, but they can go to so many places where we can't perform live, and I think we just wanted to make dance film that was really inspiring, that made you want to go see live dance, and obviously we're inspired by West Side Story, and Jerome Robbins was so specific about how dance was filmed. I mean, he directed those dance sequences himself, and I think we wanted to make something like that took place in a present day New York that felt like the New York we live in. The project started when New York Export Opus Jazz, the ballet, was revived by City Ballet in 2005. And Sean Swazi, who's the other co-creator, and I were both in this sort of hand-picked ensemble cast. It's very much an ensemble piece. And we'd been in the company for a while, and we'd gotten quite comfortable, and we'd done a lot of the Robbins rep and a lot of the Balanchine rep as core members. And this ballet just appeared on the schedule that we'd never heard of. And we were really surprised because we just thought we knew all of the Robbins rep, especially me. I'd been, dancing with the company since I was 8 years old as a child. I'd been going to see the company my whole life. I thought I knew everything, and then suddenly this ballet appeared, and we were like, where did this come from? And it was, this great abstract jazzy ballet, and the experience of learning it was really fun. We had a good 2 months to learn it. It was staged on us by someone who had danced it with Ballet USA, and it was really great to have 2 months to sort of luxuriate in something, because we have such a big rep and everything moves so fast. To get to rehearse something for a month and a half or 2 months is just amazing. You really get to feel it and get to know it really well. And we were always in our own clothes, and and the way that the ballet master would describe the feelings we were supposed to be having, he would say it's about, you're young in New York, you're kind of exploding with energy, you just want to figure out who you are, and we understood that, of course, we've been living in New York. We understood the feelings that we were supposed to be communicating, and we were always rehearsing in our own clothes, and it felt very contemporary to us, even though it was to a jazz score. There was just something true about the feelings behind it. And then we got on stage and we were in these sort of like 50s sweaters, and I don't know, everything just got very 50s again. And we were like, that's strange how the ballet changed with what we were wearing and what the sort of background was. And it was Sean's idea. One day he just said to me, because we're best friends, and he said to me, like, wouldn't this be cool if it was a film and if it was out in New York? Just like West Side Story is, but it was present day, and if people were wearing like normal clothes, like it was real people dancing this, wouldn't that be awesome? And I was like, yeah, and he was just kind of saying it like in an offhand dreamery way, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. I think I was just sort of looking for a project or something. And so we started developing it together, and we came up with the idea for those interludes that weave the dance scenes together, because we didn't want it to look like 5 music videos. We really wanted to see where the characters were coming from, and film is such a wonderful opportunity to expand, a character's backstory in a visual sense. With stage, it's like the lights go out and they come up and it's a different backdrop, and you can sort of just imagine what happens in between, and that feels right for that form. But for film, it wouldn't have felt right. It would have been really disconnected. So we really wanted to take advantage of that. But we didn't want to stamp a narrative on the ballet that didn't belong there. A lot of people call it an abstract sort of companion piece to West Side Story, and I think Robbins resisted that. But at the same time, I did a lot of research and like looking through his letters. That he wrote a letter to someone where he said, I really felt like I was working out the things that I didn't use in West Side Story, and it definitely feels that way. Like it's telling a different story. It's not meant to be too specific. It's not meant to be melodramatic. It doesn't have this really complicated plot. It's just telling a story of who these people are and what they're looking for. So we developed the idea for the interludes. We always wanted each scene to take place in a different location, but our ideas about which locations those would be changed a lot actually over the development of the film. The way we worked with the filmmakers was very, very collaborative. It was, me and Sean and the directors working together all the time. And we only had one camera, and we didn't have a lot of money, and we only had 3 days to shoot each movement. And Robbins was such a perfectionist and always fought for like the best possible, of everything, best possible format, best possible people to work with. It was always considered difficult, for that reason, because everything was, it was expensive and it was high quality, and people, want to cut corners, and he never wanted to cut corners. And Jody's a lot like that. So I think he got really inspired by Jerome Robbins and felt a kindred spirit there, and started to really care about what Robbins would have wanted, and how he would have wanted it done. And that was a big part of our decision to shoot on the anamorphic 35mm format. Actually, West Side Story is shot on 70mm, which is just amazing. That's basically IMAX, which of course we couldn't do that, but we really fought to have this on film and to have it in that widescreen so that it would feel really cinematic. So it was like very collaborative. It was, a lot of fights because everyone cared a lot. The mission of the film sort of in general was always just to bring New York City Ballet and Jerome Robbins and just dance in general to a much wider audience, and to have something of real quality out there that people could identify with even if they didn't know anything about it. Obviously we were building on this really big tradition and using the genius of Jerome Robbins, but we wanted people to just walk into it and just enjoy it. I think we've really accomplished that goal. It was broadcast on PBS, great performances. It was seen by 800,000 people the first night alone. I mean, I'm not positive about that number, but it was a lot of people. It would take tons of sold out performances to equal the number of people that saw it. And I got emails from strangers all the time just being like, I was watching the basketball game, I was flipping around, and then it came on TV and my kid wouldn't let me change the channel, and he was so into it, and I had no idea he liked dance. I would get these really great stories that to me was the best part of the whole thing. And also, we premiered at South by Southwest, and it's had it's gone to film festivals everywhere, and it's really been on the radar of sort of independent film and also people who don't think that they really like dance, and it's gotten a really great response from people like that. I'm hoping that people that didn't get to see it in a theater or didn't get to see it on TV will just be interested and buy the DVD and give it to their friends. And so we just hope for it to sort of spread, around the world. I mean, it was at the New Zealand Film Festival, and it toured in like 10 cities, was seen by like 1,000 people in New Zealand. And, New York City Ballet can't get to New Zealand, or, probably won't. And so it's just kind of awesome to know that people are watching these dancers who are, our peers, our really close friends. They're people that we admire and work with every day. It's really cool for people to get to see them, and not just to see them dance, but see them sort of showing their personalities in those interlude scenes is really cool to me too, because I know all these amazing dancers, but I know their personalities too, and it enriches their dancing for me, and I really like that they're sort of captured in this beautiful moment forever.